Tyson and needs all these other people because everybody's going to tune in to hope that Mike Tyson knocks him out.
Right.
They're not tuning in because they think Jake Paul's a great fighter and they want to see him compete. Jake fought a guy who was his age and was also considered a boxer, and he lost.
So far, Jake has mainly feasted on an appetite of retired MMA fighters and non-boxers. When he did cross the line, albeit marginally, in February last year, Tommy Fury showed the difference.
It's all a joke. I'm ending you February 26th, and you already know it.
In the dressing rooms. I want clean fight, okay? Touch glove, good luck.
Let's go.
Cautious of any return fire, Jake found himself excessively hugging, clinching, and a lot more hesitant at range.
Who did he knock out? Little children. He didn't knock out Tommy Fury.
Tyson has spent a career in this position, being clung on to for dear life by fearful opponents.
He's not listening to Rivera at all. He's just going to continue to hold until he just physically forces him out. Can't say I blame him.
He will cut angles on the inside a lot more effectively than Fury. And if you put Mike in Tommy's place for that flurry at the end of round one, things probably end a lot differently.
It's a good left hand as well that got through. The first meaningful shot of the fight landed right at the end of the round.
I don't know, I feel like that's kind of disrespectful of Jake though. He said he want to be a real boxer, but he's challenging these retired fighters or this is like the first real boxer he really fought. Tommy Fury don't really count.
I was like hunkered over and I was like by his hip and he kind of had me in a headlock. Opens his glove and puts his hand over my mouth.
When Jake's brother fought Floyd Mayweather back in 2021, he was surprised at all the subtle intricacies and veteran moves that kept Floyd one step ahead.
He knew where the ref was. He knew to cover my mouth. Straight up in the middle of the fight, I'm like, and I get up and I'm like, what the fuck? I just missed 2 breaths.
Mid-fight game changers, some barely noticeable that you can't really prepare for.
In my head, I'm like, holy fucking shit, this is like one of those old school boxing tricks that you like hear about. And I missed the breath. I got up and, whoa, that was crazy. And I'm sure he's got 1,000 of those up his sleeve.
We're getting to see strange things happen in boxing.
As another elite level operator, Mike has seen it all before against bigger, stronger, and more dangerous men.
Holyfield bit by a dirty Mike Tyson.
So whether it's some of those questionable tactics on the inside, or whether it's an ability to throw off Jake's game plan and make him fight scared, it's almost certain that Tyson will have a trick or two up his sleeve.
It's all about the experience of being in the ring, fighting. It's all about getting comfortable with the ring. That's what experience is about.
There's nothing to lose for Tyson. If he wins, people are going to thank him. Thank you for ending this charade, they're going to say.
The strongest I've ever seen you.
Yeah?
Yeah, the strongest I've ever, and I know you since you're 13.
We've heard it a million times that power is the last thing to go.
He can still kick some ass. There's no doubt about it.
And whilst it's debatable, it has been proven in certain cases by some age-defiant veterans of the past.
And I'm proud of myself, and it's showing the world that the age 50 is not a death sentence for an athlete. You can pursue excellence as long as you want, not when people say it.
So where Mike's danger factor remains, Jake's margin for error, especially early on, is minimal.
What happens when Jake Paul gets in trouble against a real-life killer?
Additionally, the problem child is certainly not without flaws. He's faced criticism surrounding his footwork and displayed a tendency to drop his hands.
We've seen you punch. Eyes closed half the time. Half your knockouts, your eyes just closed. You just throwing a haymaker. That shit ain't working on Mike Tyson, man.
So if Jake doesn't take this quite as seriously as he should, or suffers a split-second lapse of concentration, it's curtains on November 15th.
Actually fight a guy who finally, I know he's much older than him, but is naturally the bigger guy.
In his move up to heavyweight, Jake will be coming in 20 pounds heavier than usual.
And I'm only growing. I think I'll get up to 240 and then probably cut down. So I'm way faster.
The 220-pound version won't look as ripped and won't be as mobile as the man who faced Mike Perry. And whilst his punches will undoubtedly carry a little more thud, the power doesn't often follow fighters upwards quite as dramatically as they expect.
And Jake Paul is about 200 pounds. You got about 20-pound
Are you kidding me? He's only 200? Oh, gee. This is worse than I thought.
That was his last fight.
First on the scales, the most famous athlete in the world, Mike Tyson.
Weight-wise, Tyson will be roughly the same, but his body is used to maneuvering at this weight and used to handling far bigger and stronger frames than Jake's.
But the first thing I notice is he's built like a beast man. He just looked like he weighs 300 pounds, but he's short, but he's tall. He's like a giant wolf.
The body work of Tyson.
Another factor that aids the older, more experienced fighter is timing.
Well, the old Tyson's not completely gone, is he?
He bites the glove and comes around with an overhand right.
Punch resistance, speed, and reflexes certainly won't favor the 58-year-old, but crafty veterans are able to predict movements, force mistakes, and capitalize.
You know, he's been in there with the best. He knows what it takes, and Jake Paul he's too inexperienced. I think Mike Tyson is going to catch him and stop him.
So even if Jake carries his weight well and comes in razor sharp, Tyson will make his own moments count.
He has the size to cause... Oh, there he is. Punch in the fight from Tyson.
He still has that, where he can weave, he can slip, he can create the openings to give himself the possibility to unload a bomb on your chin and get you out of there.
Mike's always been one of the best students of the game since his tutelage under Cus D'Amato. So with a built-in calmness and ability to think under pressure, he'll also know when to pounce and how to catch Jake crossing his feet.
Hey, let me just be honest. He's improved a lot. Yes, he did improve a lot. But he's not going to have a good night when he fights me on July 20th.
Mike was throwing hard shots, devastating shots to Roy's body. Again, I was living the 1980s through this 50-year-old Mike Tyson. I wasn't able to be around at that time, so this is my opportunity to live that now.
When Mike fought Roy Jones back in 2020, a no-knockout clause left a lot of people underwhelmed.
I really wanted the old Tyson that he's like, I haven't slept with my wife in a year. He goes, I don't care if I live or die. That's the Tyson I wanted to see. I wanted to see him to be ferocious.
The muscle memory was evident for both, but many felt that Mike could have ended it whenever he wanted.
He still has that sort of innate power. When he went at Roy Jones' body, he was rocking his body. And Roy Jones woke up on Sunday morning a sore, older man at 51 years of age.
Absolutely.
But the referee tell me, let him go. You think I'm finna let this crazy man go?
You was not letting it happen.
Listen, have you seen what his uppercut has done to people twice my size?
Bobbing and weaving his way in, finding angles, only to pull his punches when in range.
That's two hard right hands dug into the body by Mike Tyson.
The post-fight recollections, however, where Roy credits just how dangerous and switched on Mike is, even at this age, makes you question what version Jake might actually be fighting.
Do you not fear a little bit for Mike and how old he is?
No, I don't fear for Mike and how old he is. Mike's a very rugged guy. You know, when I was in there with Mike, Mike still was hard to hit, and Mike still can hit hard as hell. That's the real question. How much can Jake survive? That's the real question.
Does that get you nervous, thinking about like the fight getting closer?
It's a good nervous. It's like excited, but with a slight bit of worry, yeah.
Fortunately, Tyson versus Paul doesn't have a no-knockout stipulation that we know of, and Jake Paul isn't Roy Jones.
Mike still got it, so he hits him, he's going down.
You think he knocks him out over there?
I don't know. I don't know how nice Mike will be, but if the killer Mike goes in there, yeah, he's putting him down.
So whilst everything we've seen so far has felt relatively manufactured, the second it's not, and the moment it steps a little bit beyond the confines of entertainment, is the moment things get a lot more interesting.
You know, I have to be the mean guy in order for me to perform the way I perform. I just have to have that aura.
Mike, you're jumping around. You seem to be a little anxious.
I'm just ready to get it on and crush this guy's skull.
The respect is there, but Tyson won't be taken for a fool. So whether we see a genuine mean streak revival from the man who used to target his opponent's nose bone with gruesome intentions could make all the difference.
What is that feeling like when you f***ing take your fist and you
fucking pound someone till the point that they pass out.
It's like drugs.
Right.
It's like drugs. It gives you everything you want.
Yes.
But it takes back so much more in return.
Fighters are different than any other human being on earth.